Hello everyone, welcome to Court of the Rings on twitch.tv/LotraStream. I'm your community manager, Cordovan, and I'll with you today with a little bit of news about next week. We'll talk a little bit about the week that is, the weekend ahead, and do a little bit of questing. We're going through the Song of Waves and Wind and playing in Corsairs of Umbar and the new update, relatively new update 40 stuff. So that's what we have going on the stream today. A little less news heavy than last week's show, which we had Orion on. So if you didn't catch that, you should go ahead and watch that, because that's probably got a lot more news than I'm going to have on the show today. My life has been somewhat off topic this past week, so I could tell you a whole lot more about shopping about a car than I can exactly some of the work that the systems people have been doing this past week. Hey, that's life. That's how it goes. How are you doing, though, today? I appreciate you being here with me for the show. And, yeah, I guess let's get to it. Let's get to a little bit of news and then some question. I'm calling up my pages here. Let me move cameras. Wrong one. There we go. So the first thing I want to mention is that we did have a game update this week. That would be update 40.1. You can find the release notes on Lotra.com. The main thing is that we have brought back Midsummer. It is now here through June 25th, but that's not all. We also have Yuletide back. Why are we celebrating Yuletide, a winter seasonal event at the start of summer? Well, it's mostly because we had requests, quite a few requests this year, to do an encore of the Yuletide Festival, and we were looking for a good place for it. We wanted to add a little hype to the festival period here for Midsummer. We wanted to bring back the Yuletide Hobbit gifts as well. All that's happened, and so there we are. That's really the reason, is just because people wanted it. But there is the bit as well that for half the world it is summer and half the world it is winter. So when the northern half, including me, is celebrating summer, the people in the southern hemisphere are experiencing their own version of winter. So it made sense for us to do. I've seen some pushback on the forums about it, people saying that they really don't want Yuletide back in the summer. To which I would say, who's summer? But, you know, at the same time, we'll take that into consideration when we decide to do something like this again. Kind of sounds like maybe people don't want us to do this sort of thing again, so we'll have to take that into consideration. But it is here now, and it's available through June 25th. If you are excited to see the Yuletide Festival back, well, this is your chance. And if you're not interested, well, we've got plenty of other things to do with Update 40 and the Midsummer Festival as well. So, that's the main bit of news for the release notes. But there are some other changes. We did some fixes in Depths of Mokta Corbo. Mostly just kind of typos, bug fixes, patchwork as we head into Update 41 here in the near future. And you heard Ryan talk quite a bit about Update 41 during last week's show. We'll have more information about that pretty soon. And as a matter of fact, I suppose that's the next bit of news, which is that we're on track so far to have our first Bull Roarer preview of Update 41 next week. Stay tuned for making sure that's actually going to happen, and we'll have the release notes for it when the time comes. But Update 41 is set to get its first preview, if possible, fingers crossed, here next week. I don't know what all elements of Update 41 are going to be in there, so I don't want to go and say things that are not, in fact, accurate. But Update 41 will include the new crafting event, new monster play systems like Siege and Bounties, the reward track that Orion has talked about. There's a thought that birding will be in Update 41. We'll have to see how that goes. And there's some other bits as well in Update 41 that I can't really talk too much about. We will also have some content, quests and such, to go along with it. You'll see your first preview of that then next week on Bull Roar. If everything goes according to plan, it'll probably be something like Wednesday, and we'll have more information as we get a little bit closer to it. Let me put up on the screen here. This is also something that you can find as of yesterday on Lotra.com, and we do have a combined article for the Midsummer Festival and the Yuletide Festival that are happening through June 25th. In particular, we have got some screenshots of the new rewards, or in some cases, returning rewards that are coming with this event. We've been able, we keep track of a list of what you could call orphaned rewards, things that showed up on various reward tracks and, well, anything really, showed up and then is no longer available. And we were able to call through the list and bring back a few of those items, in addition to a bunch of items that have been waiting for their turn to get released. So you can see the Wedding Celebration Pony, the Elven Leaf War Steed. We do have the full list here up on Lotra.com, including that circlet that I know of Hanging Blooms that I know people had been wanting on the Lotra forums as well. We have the Ringlow Steed, Wine Red Snake, even a Wild Chocolate Donkey that you can have. Virtue XP rewards from Hobbit Presents are bumped up to the next higher tier for this event, and we've also shortened the amount of completions required for a Festive Flurry. This puts it under the same time frame as Midsummer. So a Festive Flurry now requires 3 completions of In the Spirit of Yule, down from 4, and completing a Fortune of Festive Spirit will require a total of 12 days of participation in the Yuletide Festival, down from 16. And like I said, we do have the silver and gold Hobbit gifts for Yuletide here as well. Otherwise, just real quick, we have a 25% XP boost happening through Sunday, June 9th. So if you're looking to get some XP, this is a good weekend for that. And then the final bit of news, and I'll get to chat here in just a second, but the final bit of news is we do have a special sale I wanted to call out. As of yesterday, we have kicked off 5 weeks of our summer sales event. As someone who just spent the day car shopping, the word summer sales event is something I saw quite a bit. But in Lotro, it isn't going to get you a Kia or something. It's going to get you Before the Shadow at 35% off, Fate of Gundabad at 50% off, and 75% off the Brawler. 75% off the Brawler. I'm going to say that if you ever wanted to play the Brawler, and you don't have the Brawler, this is probably about as good as you're going to get. 75% off. This is through June 13th. We will be having 4 more weeks of sales, according to what I see on the sales calendar, and that should carry us through July 11th. This is also a Valar sale week, so 25% off basically all the Valars, except for the 140. And the upgrades are in there as well, and Mithril Coin. Also, free Landscape Soldier token for the weekly coupon over the week. When I look at the calendar for the week ahead, other than Bull Roar, I would say that Tales of the Kindred Week 4 will unlock on Wednesday. This is a weekly series of quests that are unlocking for the next, well, I guess at this point it'll be 5 weeks? 4 weeks? 5 weeks? Week 3 debuted on Wednesday of this week and also unlocked the next NPC. So you're going to speak to Harmalock if you've run parts 1 and 2, and now you're going toward week 3. That'll be Harmalock, and again that'll be in Darlaha and Umbar. I think that's really all I have for news today. In a second, I will go in-game and do some questing. The southern half doesn't have snow, though. I will take your word for it. I hear there's a place called Antarctica, but... oh, I've never been there. Am I correct? There are new cosmetic pets for Midsummer. Yes. None for Yule. I think that's true. And no new steeds for either? Well, no, that is definitely not true, because we just showed off pictures of them. So. Okay, but who lives there? I don't know. Penguins. Do they play? Do penguins actually live there? Maybe that's not true. Maybe my history is coming from cartoons.
What?
Are there any penguins in Antarctica? I don't know.
I believe so.
Yeah, my son thinks so too. He's closer to going to school than I have. Or than I am, so. I'll take that. I mean, there's mountains in Peru and stuff too, aren't there? I mean, I assume they get snow.
Pretty much everywhere gets snow if it's cold enough.
True. Everywhere gets snow if it's cold enough. Alright, let's head in game. Oop. How about I hit the right button again? I'm having problems with my XSplit this week. No, I'm having a PEBKEC problem. That's what it is. So we left off. We are on chapter 9.6. Unseen Ones. We're finding a metal plate in the southeastern corner of Mabiri? That means we're heading down here. In the meantime, I'm going to be taking care of some business here by fighting crocodiles and bats and taking their stuff. So that's what I'm up to here at the moment. Like this one. Oh, that's a rat, not a bat. Still, the point remains.
Eat the rat.
So what has actually been going on in my life? Let me go off topic for a few minutes. Last Saturday, I was driving my car around, going to a friend's house to do some tabletop gaming. For those who are into the tabletop, we were playing Eclipse, Dawn of the Second something or other.
And so was I.
Yeah, my son was with me. It was a good time. However, my car broke down about 40 minutes from my house. Literally, the engine died while on a big split highway in Massachusetts. I managed to safely pull us over to a nearby exit. That exit happened to be near an auto dealership, so I got pretty lucky, all said and done. But nonetheless, my car is kaput. I'd been driving an old 2006 Mitsubishi Eclipse. Absolutely the favorite car, my favorite car I've ever driven. No question, not even a close second. But it died. It's dead, Jim. It's dead. And so I've been having to not have a car all week, and then I've been having to. I've rented a car yesterday so I could start looking around auto lots and everything for the first time since COVID. Last time I purchased a car was in like 2018. Sigh is all I have to say about that one. Wow. I mean, I've seen the headlines. I knew that car prices have gotten kind of nuts, but you know, it's like 30% higher than the last time I looked. Not a lot of fun there. But that's what I've been up to anyway. So I had to take a day off yesterday after posting up the sales to take care of that. So I feel your pain for anyone else out there doing the same thing. I've got a couple of options at this point. And like I say, thankfully I'm in a position where I can make a car payment if I have to and sort it out, so. If you buy the quest pack, but do not own Corsairs of Umbar, will you be able to barter with the Reputation Quartermaster in Umbar, or are they separate? Orion, if you were in chat, perhaps that is a question more for you. I would say that in general, as long as you do not, as long as historically we have not put reputation quartermasters behind owning of an expansion, then it would probably be the same case here for Corsairs of Umbar. So it'll be whatever we've done in the past. I don't think we've changed anything for Corsairs. But what the actual answer is, yes or no, I don't know off the top of my head. I'm sorry. The main problem with car shopping for me is there's a place pretty close to my house that I have gone to repeatedly for things like purchasing vehicles, and they've always been really good to me, so no real complaints there, except for the fact that at this exact moment, I don't really have anything I want. I like the place, but that doesn't mean I'm going to buy a car that I don't actually want from them. You know what I mean? So that means I've been having to kind of look around for other options, and that has been a thing.
I don't know why I have to be so
Yeah. All right. Let's see if I can speak to a Terrassi. Nice to hear from you all the way over in the Netherlands. Kitty is doing all right. Kitty is starting to show her age a little bit. She is a bit of an elderly kitty, so she's kind of in a slowing down a bit, but she's doing great. I had never, Martin, to answer your question, I had never tried the whole world of car apps until this. I can't say I particularly enjoy it. Okay, so a girl's voice drifts out of the darkness. When people leave food out for us, they don't wait. Maybe you didn't know this. You respond, I was hoping to speak to someone who might know what happened to Tathata, kinswoman of the lower ward. The silence stretches for a long time. I might know something. This bread isn't enough. I want a true meal, something fancy, and wine. Bring me a meal and wine from the upper ward, and I'll tell you what I know. A sudden scuffling sound in the darkness tells you the girl is about to leave. I call out, how will I know you've fulfilled it? Tafisa will know, she calls back. And then we're certain we are alone again. So we need to take an unattended meal from the baths of Emai Euphoric in the upper ward, I think is how I say that. It's going to be a ways away then, huh? I am not seeing that quest coin, so it must be sellers? Okay. Okay, that's where I am. They mean all the way upper ward of Umbar? The bats? Okay. I guess it must be outside then, huh? Alright, well, let's do that. Ooh, and there's one of my crocodiles. Let me take care of this quick. Okay, let's go over. There we go. Of course, the coolest car I saw is one I can't really afford. That's always how it goes, isn't it? I mean, I can almost afford it. That's the problem. But I can't afford it enough, I think, to really want to justify it. So anyway, yeah, that's enough off topic of that. But it's been a couple of days. It's been a week. Let's see. I mean, my dream car would be much more expensive, but there's something called a Kia K5 GT line. Pretty hot looking car. That's sort of top of my list, but it's also the top of my price. So I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. I haven't decided. So why am I having trouble? It's been too long, too big a week. What am I up to? Why am I not seeing this? Must be wrong side. You know, actually, I don't even need to do this. I can just teleport. Why am I thinking this? What am I thinking? I'm not. Straight ahead to my left? Oh, let me just interrupt that then. Alright. See, I thought I went straight ahead to my left, and I'm not seeing it. Oh, there we are. There we are. Ooh, Christopher, thank you for that news. Thank you for that news. Interesting. The Amazing Acrocats are coming back. I think we're going to have to go to that. Well, I would say, Christopher, there's a pretty good chance. There is a good chance that I will, in fact, be there. Yeah. Alright. Now where am I? Where am I? Upper ward. Okay. I'm not seeing the coin for the upper ward. Oh yeah, I am. Okay, that's where we're going. No problem. And I can probably... Probably just ride there. I could take a stable master up to Northgate, maybe.
Good day to you, traveler.
That's true. It's the same week as Gen Con, but I won't be going to Gen Con this year. That's pretty much a guarantee. Lack of cash, and we're not doing anything for work for it this year. So okay, so we are here, and here is Maklish.
Ah, you have returned. I am pleased to see it.
Alright, that's just completing another quest. So, I am still, let's see, behind and over. Oh! Unattended meal. Yoink. Yoink.
What do you think you're doing? None can avoid my watchful gaze.
You must be here on some business for the kindred? Don't allow me to hinder it. Your name has become quite well known throughout the city, and your many deeds have elevated it to quite a height. Go in peace and fulfill your mission. Let me just say, related to tabletop gaming and such, that Eclipse game, if you're into, I don't know how I would describe it other than maybe,
Space destruction.
yeah,
kaboom.
space destruction.
With kaboom.
It's, I think of it maybe more like a bit of a streamlined, maybe a bit more like a streamlined Twilight Imperium, with a little easier rules to grasp and a little bit easier to play.
And Stellaris, the board game edition.
Yeah, or maybe a board game version of
Whom
Stellaris.
finds a free
Stellaris,
city
if you
at
know
last.
that one. However you say that. Alright, so I am going back down here, right? Yes. And that is going to then mean I should go to Swain's Guild Hall. Okay. Could probably just pop in there. As a former Indianapolis resident, I loved Gen Con. It's just a little harder to get to when you live in Massachusetts. Alright, so from here, from here, I can just go back up. Alright. Or over and up, I suppose. And that stairs. Go. What are you doing? It's okay to be on camera. No one's gonna freak out. Yeah. Yeah. My son's trying to hide.
No, I'm not.
You aren't. Kind of looks like it to me.
No, I'm just bringing this.
Trying to get up to a safer location. There we go.
Because also, table.
Ah.
Back up a bit.
Maybe I do get over. Okay.
Table extended. See?
I see. Your favorite bird is the duck. Okay.
Makes sense.
I can get with that. I'd say a duck is certainly top 5 for me. I like dodos. I think dodos are pretty cool.
They're not gonna.
I think Angus McBangus on TikTok is pretty hilarious.
Angus McBangus.
Yep.
Also, I know where Lizzie is.
Oh yeah?
In the basement.
Oh, okay.
Because she's nowhere else in the house, so that's where it is.
Yeah, I've got my son with me for the summer. He was there when the car broke down on the highway. I think I think it was your first full car breakdown that you've been a part of.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was. And, I know what's wrong.
Yeah.
Something seized up or pressure loss.
I explained my intention to learn what befell Tathata the days she was last seen fleeing from the hidden harbor. Silence falls upon Ilmabiri for long moments. At last, Tafisa's voice floats back. Many of us live in the tunnels, stranger, more than you might think. Our eyes see much that Timamir do not. For we can reach places even they can't go. Perhaps they choose not to. But we have not that choice. All of Umbermak is our domain, while the city's big Umbermak has vastness of a different kind. A friend of mine witnessed Tathata's flight. By secret paths he followed her, unseen, but he was not her only pursuer. An Umbari warrior woman chased at her heels, deadly daggers flashing in the torchlight. They went into Kamra Brazur, but among those vaults, he lost the trail. Many abandoned temples to the Church of the All-Seeing can be found there. It may be Tathata gains entrance to one of them and stays there in hiding. The other, I don't know. My friend thinks Tathata may have given her the slip too, leaving her no choice but return to the city above. Seems likely. Goodbye, stranger. I thank you for the food and the wine. I hope Tafisa has been a help. It's a rustling sound, and they've disappeared again. So now we're going to Biruk. Going back to Biruk. And that is...
perfect setup.
I like Mock Duck. It's clearly, that's my other screen name, so I guess that explains that. But no actual ducks are harmed in the making of Mock Duck.
It's a mocking duck.
It's a wheat gluten product. Yes, this is under Umbar, K-Wolf? Yes.
You have returned. Were you able to draw the notice of any among the Terrassi?
Yup. And he chuckles quietly. The net is closing about your prey, Stampion. Comrade Bazur, I've already sent your elf friends there. Several of the circled areas on the map they showed to me indicate locations within these vaults. And the words of the Terrassi have confirmed Thata's flight brought her there. You should look for your friends in Kentaglim, in the northwestern reaches of Comrade Bazur. Birik gets ready to go, then turns back, a concerned expression on his face. One more thing. Reports from Comrade Bazur indicate at least one terrible creature prowls the vaults and corridors there. Something must have escaped from the arena, and until Rothog's men can retrieve it, that region cannot truly be called safe. You might want to be careful, in other words. Okay, so now we are heading north, heading over into the vaults. I don't think I can fast travel there, maybe. Tagli. I can look. Let's see.
The answer is yes.
Fair winds to you.
Can. I have to pay the gold price, but I can do that.
May the seas be calm and the winds fair.
All right, Cordan and Sigilith.
Let us move forward with care.
There are several locations Tathata marked on her map with charcoal. Any of them could indicate the place where she's hiding. I asked Cordan if he or his sister have encountered any of the beasts rumored to have escaped. No, but the folk we've met with speak of little else. Whatever was being kept in the holding pens of the arena must have been ferocious indeed. The sound of it roaring in the darkness is apparently enough to make your blood run cold. Sigilith clearly doesn't believe it. We may encounter this creature or creatures if we continue our search. I want us to be prepared. Let me mark the locations we still need to take a look at and fight any of the other dangers that cross our path. So we're looking for all-seeing eye cultists, sand sifters, search the center of the cultist camp. Yeah, search in 3 camps. 4 signs of Tathata. That means we are heading elsewhere on the map here. And let's just turn around and take a look. There we go. It's true. I think that is probably one of the more satisfying moments in terms of kind of user interface in our game is the stable master discovery point. Seeing the color change, it's all nice and purple, then it ain't. Yep. Will we ever see more shared storage and wardrobe slots? Yes. I would expect to see us do that at some point in the future. I doubt that we're done for good in regards to storage. We know that there's a high demand for it, and it is something that we do need to balance sort of our data footprint on a per character and account basis. There's some kind of user interface and performance concerns that need to be taken into account, so we can't just, you know, literally offer unlimited storage, because it would cause all sorts of problems. But we do periodically try to see what we can do in terms of offering more, and I'm sure that we're not done with that. Box of nothing, the more you have in terms of storage, the poorer use you make of it. I don't know that I agree with that. In my experience, the more storage you have, it's just sort of like filling up the rooms of your house. If you live in a one-bedroom apartment, you fill it full of stuff, and if you live in a three-bedroom apartment, you still fill it full of stuff. I wouldn't expect to see butterflies added to bird watching. Certainly not immediately. I mean, butterflies aren't birds. But the idea of butterfly watching could certainly be something we could consider, you know, longer term in the future. Astrology as a hobby is certainly something that has come up as well. We have announced that we're doing bird watching next, so that's clearly next. But we'll see. We'll see what we end up doing longer term. Maybe there's opportunity there. I mean, I don't think it would be astrology as modern society here, you know, really thinks of it. It would be something maybe a little different. Okay, not there. So let's head over and head south. But certainly, you know, there are references to the stars in the sky looking weird in Umbar and elsewhere. And I imagine there's the idea of using stars for navigation, and coming up with some kind of hobby around that is certainly something that could be done. Yeah, Orion it just says in chat that there is, in fact, a technical limitation in renaming carryalls that prevents the name from being seen in shared storage. It really has to do with the way shared storage as fundamentally stores information. and it doesn't really allow for custom fields like that. So that's something that would certainly... It's not an impossible task, but it is something that would require work. I would be worried about a delete all button in wardrobe, mostly because I can only imagine the kind of CS problem that would have. What if you accidentally hit it and all of a sudden all your wardrobe stuff is deleted permanently? That sounds like a nightmare. How is going about the lag have you think about that? Yes. We do work on game performance as a top priority pretty much always. And we do have an engineer in particular who is focusing some of their work to specifically look at improvements that can be done medium and longer term over on Lotro. Well, I think we've learned the idea that I appreciate the idea of a confirmation screen, but I think ask any CS agent over the years whether confirmation screens are good enough, and people still have regrets. I have regrets. I have regrets about hitting that button and confirming it, or I accidentally confirmed it as well, or someone else hit the button and then confirmed it, or I let my son, daughter, husband, wife, partner, whatever, play my account, and they got mad at me and deleted all my wardrobe stuff, and now I need it all back, etc. It just conceptually deleting your entire wardrobe space. To the wider point, though, give me more wardrobe space. That is certainly something that we would like to do longer term. And as Orion had mentioned, there is work underway to see what we can do to address it and make improvements. Give you more options is the idea. This will be... Well, no luck. So we are heading. We're heading back north here. So let's do that. You saw the unruly dead at Richfield Coliseum back before it was demolished. That's funny. Speaking of dead named bands, I heard a joke this week I thought was pretty funny. Did you hear that the Grateful Dead are releasing an 80 CD box set? I wonder which song it's going to be. Live version, of course. Probably a radio edit. Oh, that's good. That's good. I always really liked Anthem of the Sun. That was one of their earliest albums. I think it was, what, 68 or something? Side 2 of Anthem of the Sun is actually really good. It's one of my favorites of theirs of all time. Not a big Deadhead, but I do like that album.
What does Sigalath say to this?
We found something, Stampion. It wasn't marked on Tathata's map, but Sigalath feels this is the location to which she fled. Let's go there. This is the place. I know it.
There is something worrisome on the air.
So the band called the Grateful Dead is sort of one of the very first kind of hippie-style jam bands. And they have a singer who is named after Ben & Jerry's ice cream, called Jerry Garcia. And yes, they tend to have long, kind of meandering guitar solos and such. This is the passage my sister discovered. Judging from the air in here, few have come this way, but there have been no sign of Tathata elsewhere in Kamra Bazur. So, we're just following it.
Let us move forward with care.
Where to get the SSG t-shirts? Currently, only inside of the office. The thought has crossed our minds on occasion, mine in particular, about whether there would be enough commercial interest in SSG logo swag for us to be able to offer it. It's easy to say yes. A little harder to justify it as a business.
Look out!
But maybe. I'd love to see it anyway. That was indeed a big creature. I think we found the creature. I think so. Let us hope it does no harm to the folk who dwell within Umbar Mach. We'll hunt it later. For now, let us continue to search for our true quarry. I don't think you'd want to kickstart a t-shirt sale. But what you could do is perhaps put it in through one of those t-shirtshack.coms or whatever and see if enough people buy it.
Beware.
Oh, Warren Bori woman. This is Cruel Dancer. Stampion. I don't have much time left.
I was careless. I believed I knew all there was to know about my prey. But I was wrong.
And there is Tathata. Did you believe you were chasing me, bounty hunter? This is a flashback. 'Twas not so. So our target is in fact the beast. I was the deadliest woman in all these lands, Stampion, but my luck and fortune have abandoned me. Did it happen when I killed the Blade Twist? Ever since I have had ill fortune. I never considered Tathata might possess such power. I want to confess to you something, Stampion. Will you bring me into the sunlight? I've spent too long in the dark as cruel dancer. I would be Galatani again instead. Yes, let's. A Court of the Rings t-shirt. That would be the worst t-shirt to print. That would, no one wants a Court of the Rings t-shirt. I don't even know if I want a Court of the Rings t-shirt. Stand with Galatani and observe her final moments. It was too much to hope for sun, I suppose. I was not always as I am, Stampion. I was an adventurer for hire, accomplishing small tasks that needed doing. My husband was accused of stealing a vase from a wealthy nobleman, a man called Firasak. He didn't. I know he didn't. But he was slain for the crime anyway. I had to take on an even more dangerous task to support my Ashenoth, even murder. I paid the finest of all, but the first victim of my knife was the sweetest. Firasak, the nobleman who falsely accused. He deserved the death I gave. But I didn't stop there, for I had tasted the deadly nectar of death. I have tasted the deadly nectar of death. Now, there's a line you don't hear too often. I was away for longer and longer at a time, and told myself the coins I gave my neighbors to watch my daughter were all for her benefit. The name Galatani no longer applied, for I had grown hard and cold. I was now Hazephan, cruel dancer, as I delighted in the slaughter. Firasak had deserved death, but he would not be the last, and some who died at the hands of cruel dancer deserved it less than he. Many did. It was for the best for Ashenoth that her mother remain only a memory. She falls silent a moment, then coughs and sputters. The city was not a place of safety in those years. The Church of the All-Seeing saw its enemies everywhere. The neighbors who watched after my daughter were taken in sacrifice to the Makta Korbo, and their homes burned. On that day, Ashenoth joined her father, but when I returned to the burned frame that had been a home, there was no vengeance to be had. The Dark Lord worshipped by the Church of the All-Seeing was not like Firasak. I couldn't be certain he even lived, and if he did, could he be slain? I preyed upon the church for a time, often for free, but when my coin ran out, I had few choices left. I stopped returning to the burned husk where once I lived. I only felt alive when I competed with other bounty hunters for the most dangerous work. What bounties could be more dangerous than those placed on the kindred of the coin? If only I could have chosen a different road, but that was not to be. In my heart, I was always Hazephan. Her voice is little more than a whisper. Tathata kept me alive for days, Stampion. With her terrible secret powers, she could have slain me, but she had questions about you.
If my words have endangered you, I am sorry. I am sorry for a lot.
So to be clear, we've talked about this in the past, but we don't have the ability to release physical merchandise that can be purchased for Lord of the Rings Online, or the other game. It's not to say it could never happen, but it would be a project involving executives and lawyers, probably quite a few lawyers, reaching agreements on infrastructure, payments, licensing, etc. throughout all the parties involved. It's a big project, and one that to date has been time prohibitive, if nothing else. Okay, so sadly, she is gone. We should make a place for her here. Let us find stones with which to mark the grave. I'm just about ready to wrap up the show here. It is done. Chapter 9.8 is where we will continue next week, I think. My heart is conflicted, Corden says. Galatani chose a path of cruelty and greed. The words she spoke to Tathata surely will cause trouble for us in the days ahead, but still her end was sad. Corden hands me a small dagger. I retrieved it from the floor, which had fallen during their struggle. It's the blade with which Galatani cut her path through life. It should accompany her in death. Do we agree? Yes. We will do that. And then I believe... Here we go. I was moved by the story, Siglet says. I saw something of myself reflected. Well do I know the price of obsession and single-mindedness. My blade has found its name. It shall be Bauglitir. Bauglitir? Boglitir? That is, crew dancer in Sindarin, and it shall remind me of she who participated in the death dance and at last succumbed. Siglet sheaths the dagger and nods once more at the grave and turns to you. Harmalak will want to know what is learned beneath the city. It's time to return to Dawaha. And that is where we're going to wrap it up today. So thank you very much for watching Court of the Rings on twitch.tv/LotraStream. We do have the Tolkien Professor up in a little bit. Druid's Fire on after that. You can find the full schedule over on LotraStream. We also this week did have the latest casual stroll through Middle-earth with Scenario. So check that out. That's up on YouTube, as this will be in just a couple of hours. Hope you enjoyed the XP boost. Hope you enjoy Midsummer and Yuletide. Enjoy Bull Roar next week. And I'll talk to you next Friday. Have fun, everyone. Bye-bye.